Hi, I am Whitney Sullivan, the assistant web editor for RT Book Reviews, and I am here with YA author Jennifer Lynn Barnes to talk about her new release, Raised by Wolves. Jennifer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a busy day, but a good day.
Excellent. Now I know that you've been signing and doing all sorts of stuff, so I have a couple of quick questions for you about Raised by Wolves. The first one is, can you tell me how your outside work, you actually are a student I believe, has come into the animal behavior in Raised by Wolves?
Sure. Well, my background is in animal cognition and behavior. I don't work with wolves, but I work with non-human primates. So I work with capuchin monkeys and rhesus monkeys, and I've actually spent time on what we call Monkey Island. It's an island off the coast of Puerto Rico. It has 1,000 free-ranging rhesus monkeys, and it's not that big an island. You can walk across the whole thing in 20 minutes. So you go out, and you're the only human or one of the only humans on an island full of monkeys. So my main character in Raised by Wolves is the only human in the middle of a werewolf pack. And like wolves, monkeys have a pack hierarchy. So on the island there are 8 groups of monkeys. There's a hierarchy between groups, there's a hierarchy within the group, and dominance. So a lot of the pack dynamics in Raised by Wolves actually came from stuff I've seen firsthand with monkeys. And a lot of the facial expressions and posture are very important for animals because they don't have the same kinds of words we do. And even though humans and werewolves would be able to speak, I still have a lot of the subtle cues in there, the way you're standing, the way you're looking at someone, something that a human might think, oh, that's a smile, to a monkey, that's not a smile. And to a werewolf, sometimes it might mean something different. So a lot of the subtle cues that I kind of had to learn as a human out there among animals, my main character has just learned as a natural course of nature growing up, and I think that really changes the way she thinks about humans.
I definitely agree. I was actually wondering, Bronwyn spends a lot of time as a sister and as almost a mother figure without really having her own mother, but she does have Allie. Can you tell me how that relationship kind of came to be?
So I didn't know. I was thinking when I wrote it, I thought she'll be the only human. And then at the end of the first chapter, she references her human foster mother. And I was like, oh, well, that wasn't what I was planning on doing, but it seems to make sense. And Allie's actually one of my favorite characters. And I think it's because even though Bryn's an orphan, I always joke, parents play a big role in all of my YA books, and I think it's because my parents are still a huge part of my life. My mom and I have a Gilmore Girls type thing going on where I talk to her every single day. I talk to my dad almost every day. So it's hard for me to write a book in which there aren't parents and in which that relationship doesn't play a big role in their characters' lives. And Bryn's an orphan, and I thought, oh, she's growing up in the middle of this werewolf pack, sort of like raised by the whole pack like a village, and then out pops Allie. And she's, not that much older than Bryn. I think she's like maybe 15 years older than her, but she's so the uber mom type. And I think that's just because I have the uber mom, and it just comes out and comes in there.
So while Bryn does have Allie in her life, her best friends are werewolves, and they're very special. Can you tell me a little bit about how you knew that Bryn had to be matched with such special characters as friends?
As friends? I think, again, I have friends who I'm very close to, and I'm one of those people who I feel like after you've been friends with someone for a certain amount of time, they're like family, and that it didn't matter what they did. There are friends that you'll have that you will be friends forever because you have been friends for so long and you're just stuck with them. And Bryn's friends in the book are very much people she's grown up with. So they're people she's known since she was 4 years old who've been a part of her life. And their personalities, I think, came about very much because of the kinds of expectations other people have about them. So her best friend is a male werewolf named Devin. He's 6'5", he's huge, he's a purebred werewolf, meaning both of his parents are werewolves, so he's the strongest, the most likely to turn alpha. And for Devin, that comes with a lot of expectations. And his way of subverting those expectations is he's really into fashion and musicals, and he's just the most out there, in your face, this is what I want to do. I'm going to be my own person and not just who you expect me to be. And her other good friend is a female werewolf named Lake, whose life has been very much so formed by the fact that in this world there aren't many female werewolves. They all come as half of a set of twins. So she's known her entire life that she's one of the only females of her species, that people are going to look at her differently because of it. So she's a little bit wild, and she's very fond of shotguns, and she might be a little more aggressive than some people are, but again, it's because people expect her to be the opposite. And I think that's something that both of them have in common with Bryn, is they're all not what people would expect them to be.
I would absolutely agree. I was wondering about the title. Did you always know it was going to be called Raised by Wolves? I love that play on words.
I didn't know it was called Raised by Wolves at first. So I started on it, and I wrote maybe 2 chapters, which I do all the time. I'll start maybe 20 books a year. And I wasn't sure that it was going to be a book that I really fell in love with and had to finish. Until I came up with the title. And I was writing it, I'm like, it's a human girl, there are werewolves, all this stuff. And then I was at dinner with my parents one night, and I was like, Raised by Wolves. And that's when I knew that I was for sure going to write this book, because the title fit her situation so well.
That is excellent. Can you tell me a detail that you know about one of your characters that has not yet made it into the story?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think what I can tell you without spoiling. I just finished the first draft of the sequel, so I currently know a lot that other people don't know. So let me try and think what I can tell you about what I don't know. Okay, so I can tell you, one thing you do know from the book is that Lake, who's the female werewolf, is that she had a twin brother. And everyone knows this just by looking at her. Not known in the book, her twin brother's name was Griffin, and he died when I think they were 7. So she exists in a world where there are no females who don't have twins, and she doesn't have one, which I think, it hasn't come out to play in the books yet, but I think it's very much so been a part of who Lake is. So.
Excellent. And can you tell me when we can expect the next book? Do we have any ideas?
Yes, it is going to come out 1 year after the first book, so June 2011. And the working title, which I think we're going to get to stick with, is Trial by Fire.